This episode is brought to you by Raw Valor. It is a Lotus Love affiliate. Let me tell you something about Raw Valor, man. Raw Valor is a men's brand. They have oils, they have incense, they have lotions, and they have soaps, amongst a bunch of other stuff. These guys are ahead of the game. They are really big in the industry right now, and they're getting better as they go on. The brand itself, Raw Valor, is brand new, but Lotus Love has been around. So I'm very intrigued and I'm very interested to seeing what comes from this company venture. Um, I'm big on hygiene. I'm big on men's health care. Um, and I'm just looking forward to seeing what they got. So I'm going to definitely be sticking around and I'm definitely going to be sharing with you guys all the shit that they come out with. So I just heard this a couple hours ago, but Katy Perry is being sued by Jeff Bezos. It now, if this is true, if this is a real thing, I want to be honest, okay? I just if this is a real thing, I want to be honest. Why? Apparently, he said that again, this source is not reliable. I have to do my research, but I will say this. If it is true, Jeff Bezos is alleging that she blew the case, basically, completely off of this Blue Origin fiasco. Now, for those that don't know, all right, and I would be surprised if you didn't because let me tell you something right now. It was the most annoying week of my life. You couldn't escape it. Everyone was talking about how the Blue Origin space flight wasn't real. That it was that the shuttle itself, the capsule itself, did go up there, but it did not contain any of those female astronauts that were supposed to be on that flight. And then it just kept going and it kept snowballing and it turned into this big old conspiracy thing. And I hate using that word conspiracy because a lot of times they're true. They're not conspiracies, they're just people like to call conspiracies just like for crazy people. But the truth is, a lot of these people that are speaking of these conspiracies, 99.9% of the time, end up true. So it is very difficult to kind of just overlook things like that anymore, just because they call it a conspiracy. I look into everything. It doesn't matter to me. Call me whatever you want. If I feel like something is off, I'm going to check it. But, anyways, I digress. So, everyone said that it wasn't a real flight or that it was, but they weren't on the flight. And that apparently it was staged for marketing. It was just a marketing ad so that the Blue Origin can take off and start, getting people to want to pay to fly to the edge of the world. Jeff Bezos thinks that Katy Perry is behind the fact that it didn't work out. No, dumbass. It didn't work out because you you chose these people to go up there. And then you choose the worst crew ever. Take a look at these people. Minus the two women that are scientists, okay? What makes you think any of those other women are going to be able to hold up this marketing scheme that you had? Exactly. Not a single person on that flight. Again, besides those two scientists, and that's me, kind of 50-50ing it because you never know. Those two scientists may not be more than just, textbook smart, not really, savvy in any other sense. But minus those two scientists, none of those other people on that flight were going to be able to do anything to help you push this Blue Origin marketing scheme. It is your fault. You're you're putting a lawsuit on Katy Perry because she's being Katy Perry. You know? And listen, I was the first one ahead of the line, you know, to just talk shit about Katy Perry because I do, because I love it, because it is what it is. I don't give a damn. And even I am like, really? You're gonna, you're gonna, you're gonna sue Katy Perry because it was her. She did it. She blew the lid. The lid had been blown. The lid had been blown off the moment that this idea came into existence. The whole Blue Origin mission to go up there and send these ladies up there so they can pretend to be, happy and do all this nonsense. And then all of the PR work that came following up that. Come on, guys. Come on, Bezos. You're a millionaire. Billionaire, I think. You know better than this. You know what the hell you were expecting, guy. It's not act surprised, man. That's not act surprised. Yo, straight up. If anything, you should have just went up there by yourself. You should have just went up there by yourself. Because honestly, I feel like that would have worked a lot better than having all of these women who can't hold a secret. We all know women cannot keep a secret. We all know women cannot keep a secret. Why would you think Katy Perry was going to be able to keep a secret? And then not just Katy Perry. You sent other women up there. You sent the group. You sent the gaggle of women up there. You a bold man. You a bold man. The mayor of New York, New Jersey was arrested, I believe yesterday, for allegedly trespassing the ICE detention center. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. That's what they do, Do you want to know why he trespassed? Do you want to know how he got there? I'll tell you. He was there because he was attending a protest. Yeah. He was attending a protest, and so that's why he was there. Why did he trespass? Because he was told to leave. You can't make this stuff up, guys. The mayor of Newark, New Jersey was attending a protest at an ICE detention center. When asked to leave, he proceeded to deny. He proceeded to say no and then trespassed. I don't have to say anything to this, They'll protest anything. First off, those kinds of people will protest anything. All right? Anything. I don't know what they think they're gonna get out of this. I don't know if they think they're going to get another term, whatever. I don't really care about that. But it always works out the same way. These motherfuckers will go out there and they will protest anything. And it's crazy to me that now even government officials are in that situation now. Okay, like you got judges that are hiding illegal immigrants. All right. Where's the time where I was growing up where when I saw a judge, I looked the other way? It seems like now looking towards the judges are the best course for these criminals. So I guess he's just going to end up spending time. I mean, I'm sure he's already been released on bond. I mean, I don't even know how long these guys can be detained for, especially, him. He's probably got some money. As a matter of fact, I'm sure he has plenty of money. Did you guys hear about the Biden talk? Did you guys hear that Biden was he was talking on The View, I guess, and he just said some bullshit. I guess he was talking about it. He thought he could still win. Biden thought he could still win. You can't even you don't even know what planet you're on. All right? You don't even realize what planet you're on. And you're talking about you could have won. He said that Kamala Harris, that he's close to her, but that he's not surprised by her losing to, Trump or whatever. And he says if he was still running, he could have won. I honestly feel like Biden is definitely like he's gone. It was kind of funny though, man, to see him come back and the way he was talking. He still has the same stutter too. He ain't never gonna lose that stutter, man. Pope Leo, an American from Chicago. What? Shout out to Chicago, man. You guys got a pope. You ever wonder what's behind that door that they always hold so secretly, That I guess they say that the world's secrets are in there or some shit like that. Bet you the Epstein list is in there. What's crazy too? Like it's insane. I really truly feel like there's nothing behind that door. I really do because it's like it's a symbol more so. It's like it's more of a symbol. There's really nothing in there. Maybe a chair and a table, and maybe some duct tape. But it's just there's really it's more of a symbol is what I think. That's my personal opinion. I could be completely wrong. Again, I'm not a religious type. But I feel like yeah, I feel like there's really nothing in that door behind that door. It's just a bunch of crap. A lot of times, the same way that a lot of religions idolize a figure or idolize some type of like thing or person. It's the same way they are just they're using this analogy of the secret door with like the world's secrets behind it. It can't be more than just a symbolism, in my personal opinion. I know that there was a picture that surfaced a while ago of the Pope, who is now deceased. The not the new one, the old one. Um, he said I guess there's a picture of him like looking in or something like that, I believe, and he had this look on his face, and they were like, "Why did he look like that? Like he looked like he saw something." And all I can say is he probably didn't see anything. That was probably the look of shock when he realized, oh, it's nothing. The world is just infatuated with nothing. Yeah, that's how I feel about it, man. That's how I feel about it. To me, honestly, I feel like a lot of times people they read into things too hard, and it's okay. It's okay to read into stuff. You're just trying to be, you're trying to be mystical. You're trying to act as if something is of importance. And, I'm not saying that Catholicism, Christianity, uh, uh, that it's not important. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that people take life way too serious. Way too serious. And sometimes, it gets out of hand. And sometimes people start to look crazy when they just continue to take things, so serious. Sometimes you got to just chill, relax, you know, go outside, touch some grass, maybe have a beer, maybe watch some TV, maybe beat one off, something. I don't know. I'm not a therapist. You imagine if I was a therapist though? Holy shit. It's like what's that? Is it the unalive pod that they have in Switzerland? Is it or Germany? I don't know where the hell it is. They have this pod that apparently you could just like, I guess, under the right circumstances, that will allow you to get in there and it unalives you. It will unalive you. That is a little bit, it's a little funny to me. Yeah, it's a little funny, but whatever. So, a lot of people have been getting on me because I talk a lot about fat phobic stuff, or I say a lot of fat phobic stuff. And guys, listen, I don't care if a female is fat or skinny. I don't care about any of that. All right. I understand that some people are just sensitive and they want to spread body positivity and all this and that. But I really don't care. I really don't care because um, it is what it is, man. I'm just talking shit. And if you can't see that, then I'm not here to help you. I'm not a therapist. Could you imagine if I was a therapist, or could you imagine the kind of turmoil that I would be bringing people just being this type of individual, where all I'm doing is just like talking craziness? It would be insane. It would be insane. In this day and age, in this world, it would never hold up. It would never hold up. People are too sensitive these days, man. People get offended over anything. You can say whatever, and it will always get somebody wild up about anything. That's the messed up part. Um, but I also feel like a lot of times you gotta be able to bring that kind of like humbling balance to things. You know, I'm not a person that is way too full of themselves. I've been humbled in my past, and I've been humbled, you know, a lot. So for me, humbling someone is almost like letting them kind of come back down to earth. That's one thing I've noticed about society today, man. Everybody is their heads are up in the clouds all the time. They never realize how up on the clouds they are because so many people want to kind of coddle their little insecurities and kind of help them get through all these little like problems. And it shouldn't be like that, you know? I think you should be able to just, sometimes just tell somebody a little bit about themselves. If they're doing something wrong, just tell them. Be like, hey, listen, you're fat. Or, hey, listen, you're being a bitch. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Same thing with the gender pronouns and identity bullshit. So many people are out here trying to stand out so much, so much that it shows. I don't think anyone who has a million and one pronouns, okay, is anything more than someone seeking attention. If you feel the need to have to tell me that you are a she, her, them, they, who, her, him, his, has, them, and they, when you introduce yourself, you definitely have a lot of shit going on. All right. We don't want to know. When I ask somebody what their name is, I don't need to know all these other extra things that come along with that. All right. Especially if I'm at a cashier register. If I'm at a McDonald's drive through and you feel the need to tell me your pronouns or to correct me because I said him or her or whatever, you're doing a little too much. Okay. You're doing way too much. All right. You have to actually like pry my full name out of me. I don't understand how people will be out there willingly wanting to tell everyone their pronouns. And maybe I wouldn't have such a problem with it if it was like, like if you didn't get offended if I got it wrong, you know? Like, you bring so much attention when someone gets your pronouns wrong, or when someone gets whether you're a he or a her so badly that you cause for me to not even want to know. I don't want to know. I'd rather not know. I got to remember so much shit throughout the day as it is. I don't want to remember your pronouns. I don't. It's that victim mentality shit, man. That victim mentality shit is, you know, sometimes it's not even real trauma. It's all clout chasing. People want you to feel bad for them, so they will make up these scenarios, okay, to make themselves, you know, gain those sympathy points. And I'm not giving those out liberally. I'm just not. You're not gonna get me because see, this is the thing. If there's a valid reason for you know, your pain or your trauma, I can understand that. But when you sit there and you tell me that the reason you're fat is because you watched Whoopi Goldberg in The Color Purple, that's not. I'm not giving you sympathy for that. I'm just not. It's the wrong thing. You got it all fucked up. All fucked up. And then for saying that, you get canceled. Then you got the cancel culture, right? Which is this group of anonymous individuals that will go out there and seek this justice. This weird kind of construed justice where if someone says something that's not politically correct or goes against a certain narrative, automatically they should be canceled. You know, whether that's financially, just basically exiled from society is what cancel culture is. And I've never understood that. And I really don't care about it because if I did, I wouldn't be posting the reels that I do online almost every day. Cancel culture to me is BS, and it's something that's perpetuated mostly by the left side of everything. All right, the leftists are the ones that always feel the need to try to cancel somebody for saying something that they do not agree with. And most of the times, you'll hear people on the back burner like, oh, but he was kind of wrong. Was he? Was he wrong? Was he really wrong, or did you just not like what he had to say? That's the way I see it. That's the way I see it. Cancel me. There's too much going on in this world, man. Too much. There's too much bullshit going on in this world for uh, anyone to be worried about cancel culture. For real, you know. But I guess that also comes with the territory, if you're an influencer, right? And that's another thing, right? Influencers. Let's think about this for a minute. Influencers. Are they really is there such thing as an influencer? Right? Someone who uh influences influence what? Right? Like influence what? I know that this is a big thing for a lot of people because a lot of people actually make money being this influencer shit. But honestly, guys, like the name being named saying that you're an influencer is so dumb. I'm an influencer. Well, good for you. You know, I actually have a real job. You know, that I have to do every day. All right, an influencer. Okay, and you see it every day. You open up your pages and you start looking through your feed, and There they are, just random people just trying to influence you into buying something or buying them in many cases. And then the thing about it is that it's become such a norm that now kids are growing up thinking that this is a career path. Like influencing is a career path. And it's crazy. It's crazy for me to think that there are kids out there that are willing to just throw everything away because they think that they have a shot at becoming this like top uh, influencer on on Instagram or top TikTok influencer or some shit. Like they're throwing away whole lives to chase a dream that's possibly not gonna happen. All right. I think what makes it worse, in my personal opinion, is when grown adults consider themselves influencers. If you are over the age of 25 and you live with your mother or your parent, any of them, and you have nothing going on for yourself, and then you call yourself an influencer, you're not an influencer. You are a 25-year-old, possibly more, doing nothing but leeching off their parents with nothing ahead of them. That is what we all see. Not just me. That's what we all see. I think a lot of times people are so numb to what they think that other people see online, right? So they'll post this weird thing online and they'll get a few, 100,000 views and they automatically think that they've hit it big. They think people like them. Here's a little bit of a humbling notion for you guys to understand. Not every time you get a lot of views does it mean it's positive. Sometimes people want to see how stupid you look for themselves. Sometimes people just want to watch how much of a cringe you really are. And I know, it's hard to believe, right? Because a lot of times these people that are on these social media platforms and they're getting so many views and they're doing all this and that and the third, they automatically think that they're superstars when merely they're just a comic book strip. Like you ever see back in the day when the little newspapers, they would pull out the newspaper and they would have the comic book section and people would just go there just to get a laugh. Sometimes that's all you are. It's just a laugh. But instead, the joke is you. You are the joke. You're not doing the joke. You are the joke. And that's usually what goes over their head. They never realize that. They always think that, that's why I really don't associate too much with the word influencer. I post what I post because I like to post. I say what I say because I want to say it. I still have a good job. I still handle my business. I still pay my bills. I still handle everything I need to handle throughout my day. And I'm also a well off photographer as well. I do my work, I get paid for it, and I enjoy it. So if I want to post some random shit on Instagram to piss a couple people off, I will. I will. Why? Because I enjoy it. All right? And that's it. I don't care about the view. I don't care about the like. If I piss you off, I do care about that. I like that. I will absolutely post every single day just to piss people off. But anything else out of it, I don't really care for. I don't care whether something does good or not. It's not. That has never been my motivation to make anything. I just post to post, and that's it. You know, my bread and butter does not come from this little TV screen. It comes from actual work that I do with my cameras, actual work that I do in my private job. That's where I get most of my money from, okay? Not from this. Parenting styles is gentle parenting raising soft adults. I asked myself this. I was thinking about this earlier when I put it together, and I said, I really feel like kids these days, they ain't getting enough ass whoopings as we used to get back in our day. All right. And I don't want to sound like I'm some, like, 100-year-old guy or whatever. I'm not that old, but I'm old enough to know the difference between today's generation and the old generation. And let me tell you, man, I grew up in a time where if you said something off or if you did something wrong, you were going to get the brakes beat off you. And I feel like kids these days, they don't even get that. They don't get none of that, right? They're mostly just given everything they want. They rarely see any consequence for anything, and they don't even have to work hard at it. Okay? They just get it. They get it just like that. All right? Do you know how long it took me to realize that I would never, ever be able to get a PlayStation 2 when it first came out? Immediately, instantly, the moment that it was released, my grandfather told me straight up. He said that's the new game that just came out, right? I was like, yeah. He was like, don't you dare even ask me for that. Just like that. He said it just like that. He pulled me to the side to just let me know that I should never ask him for that PS2. Now, did I get to play the PS2? Yeah, I played it a lot at my friend's house, but my friend was also living a different life. His father was a drug dealer. Anyways, that's besides the point. The point is that kids these days, they get away with too much, man. They get away with far too much. And the problem is because there's no consequences to them anymore. If we start giving these kids some sort of like consequence when they did things wrong, you might have a chance. But the problem is that we don't have that. We don't have consequences for these children when they do something wrong. The same thing with these parents that allow these kids to just say whatever they want. You know, like little Timmy will call his mom a loser to her face. She'll be like, "Hey Timmy, can you go take a shower?" I don't want to, loser. You imagine if I said that to my grandmother or my mother or any authority figure in my family? I would swallow teeth. I would swallow teeth immediately. But these kids these days, they can say whatever they want to their parents, and their parents merely just laugh at it. They either laugh at it or they justify it with, "Oh, he's just having a stressful day." My parents had a stressful day. You know what they would do? They'd beat the hell out of me. They're stressed. So they just beat the shit out of me. My grandfather would come home sometimes. He'd be a little bit ticked off about something, stressed out. You know what he'd do? He'd beat the shit out of me. That's basically what it is. The generation now will never understand consequence because they're not exposed to it. They don't know what it is. And that's why we have all these little school shooters. That's why we have all of these kids that do everything wrong in life. That's why we have sexual pedophiles. I mean, it's a long, long, long list of things that giving children consequences early on can help further down the line. This is not to say that every kid that is treated this way is going to grow up to be a genius, but it will definitely give them a little bit of a backbone. So when things don't go the way they want, they can understand that, okay, well, this wasn't just for me. If any of these kids in this generation now, if anything goes wrong for them, they quickly go and unalive themselves. They'll go and unalive themselves immediately. If someone on social media roasts one of these children of this generation, unalive. Immediately unalive. It is what it is. I want to thank everybody that pulled up to check out this second episode. I think I did all right. Look for the third episode pulling up next week, same time, Saturdays. If you guys have any requests, or if you guys would like for me to get into something, conversation wise, drop it down on the comments, man. Let me know what you would like to hear. Let me know if you would like to be a guest on the show. I'm always open to ideas. So just, yeah, man. Do what you do. Subscribe. Share. You don't even have to subscribe, man. You don't have to subscribe. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. But it'd be a lot cooler if you did. I'll see y'all later.